hip hop coincides with sports.
Yes.
A lot. Shaq was a rapper. He had some pretty good raps, though.
Right.
You know,
Stephon Marbury, A1, Kobe Bryant, they all had rap.
Yeah. Master, I think
Master P played basketball.
Hey, Damian Lillard rap.
Yeah, Damian Lillard rap. Master P
Master P was a basketball player.
Tried out for the Raptors at one point.
I think he played for Houston, but he got injured. University of Houston. And then I think he also almost made like
he was on the Raptors tryout.
Yes. So my thing is he got convicted 2 of the lesser sentences.
Mm-hmm.
If you read the stuff on the internet about P. Diddy, some people split. Some people think, well, they're just out to get him. He's a celebrity, blah, blah, blah. Women suing him for money. My thing is, and others think, well, he got a slap on the wrist. But people like Megyn Kelly say, hey, this guy was guilty of all this stuff. That's a woman legal background. You get guys like Clay Travis, sports talk guy with a legal background, says he was properly convicted.
Right.
My point to all that stuff is, I'm pretty sure you seem like you're pretty up on your hip hop game too. I've been following the guy since the 90s, early to midnight, more of the mid 90s with Biggie Smalls and all that stuff. My thing is, he's had a reputation of doing shady things, going all the way back to before we even heard of him. I made some notes here. What is it? Back in before 99, the stuff with Jennifer Lopez, but I don't think I screenshotted that one. But we know about him and his bodyguards charged with attacking. That was a different one. Excuse me. That was in April 99. That was another arrest. December 27th of 99, he was arrested on a gun possession charges. He and his girlfriend at the time, J-Lo. We saw this on, I'm sure you remember this, led a shooting that wounded 3 people at a New York City nightclub. Some witnesses tell police Combs was among the people at shooting in the club. The guy claims he was later charged with offering his driver $50,000 to claim ownership of the 9mm handgun.
Right.
And supposedly one of the bodyguards took the rap, but the guy who got shot in the face claims that it was Combs that did it. And those New York City gun laws ain't no joke. He could have went to jail for that. Then you go back farther. Now we go back to my notes with P. Diddy. You get guys like Keefe D. He was a guy arrested for the Tupac stuff. Him and his nephew is the guy that actually pulled the trigger on Tupac going back to 96. He claims in multiple interviews, even though he's a criminal himself, he's currently in jail, former gang member, that Diddy offered him $1 million to kill Suge and Tupac. So that's that allegation. Then you look at guys like Mace, the rapper, says that Diddy got over on him on publishing rights, 20 years, 2 decades of publishing rights that they later made right. So he's kind of got a history of plus there was the incident with his son in the UCLA making a scene there. I want to punch one of the he attacked one of the coaches or something over son. This was a few years ago. So he just has a scene up. My thing is, you want to be a gangster, grew up in Mount Vernon. Then he spent a little bit of time in Harlem. Mount Vernon's isn't that more suburban up there?
It's suburban, but they have
they're pretty tough in some spots.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough spot.
Yeah. But my thing is, he's wanting to be a gangster. This is forget about all these other sexual assault lawsuits. And what's that chick's name that he kicked in video in 2016? Cassie?
Cassie, yeah.
Yeah, of course, the statute. You add all this stuff up, man. We're talking 10, 12 incidents if you count lawsuits, arrests, and this stuff. My thing, you want to be a gangster, you can do the crime, do the time. Eventually, you can't just buy yourself out of all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, whatever, if he gets 3 to 5 years, or if he gets like a max 20, but they're saying that's not going to be it. He's already been in there possibly a year after he gets sentenced in October. I'm not the least bit sorry for P. Diddy. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, so
going back, and if you want to go back to the 90s, that's fine, man. We got plenty of time left.
I don't think we can go back to the 90s. It's like terrible music exists now because it's a different genre, but different time.
But all that being said, I did love the music.
Yeah.
Even though by the way, did I mention he sampled a lot of music without asking for permission?
Right.
Missing You, Seeing You from Sting. They got it squared away. Of course, he had to pay Sting and the police, but
listen, I'm not sure what's going on in our country as far as with the law and the way it works, and it just seems unfair that anybody in his position that wasn't a multi-billion-dollar earner would have been able to get away with all that the way he's gotten away with all those.
Yeah.
And
really good lawyers, man.
Yeah,
really good lawyers.
And I feel like everybody in the industry knew or heard about what was going on, and whether they were part of it or not, that was in their own intentions, and that was on whatever, so because coming from the entertainment business myself, when I did move here in 2006, I was involved in a few events and stuff like that.
Yeah. Did you ever see him at any of those events?
Yeah, I was at I did a few MTV shows.
Okay.
With Wu-Tang's final album, and we did some promotion stuff for Soulja Boy when he came out.
Soulja Boy.
And then we closed down an event at the Verizon building for MTV. What was that called with Carson Daly?
TRL.
Yeah, we closed down
West Live.
Yeah, when that was back then. So
tight.
We us people that were involved in doing events and with different artists, we knew about what was going on. Like some people were okay with it, and some people just went the other way or looked the other way. So, but all those things that has happened in the past, and now that they're coming up, to me it's just amazing that.
Do you think you do think he deserves the time he gets?
Whatever. Anybody else in this situation
may get 20-something years, right?
Would have got 20 plus
or possible life. He got off on a lot of that heavy stuff.
And you know what? And he had his family involved in a lot of things. A few cousins, his sons. What are they? Are they going to get in trouble? Probably not. I
don't think so.
The reason he's getting away with all this is because he's a billionaire. He works and has funds in different areas, right? He had vodka. He had Bad Boy Records. He had clothing lines. He had a bunch of other stuff where he's making millions of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars. So now that he's in trouble, he was able to pay for somebody to, I guess, get him to the point where he's at now. And is it fair? It's just the way it is. And I feel bad for our justice system because, people like that who don't have that kind of money, don't have that kind of lawyers. And it's not just the lawyers, man. Like you said, you did the crime, you got to pay for the time. And it's like, go in, do your time. Do
you think he'll learn his lesson? He's 55 now. He'll probably if he gets 3 years at 58 years old, do you think he's going to lay low, or you think maybe something else could come up after that?
I think he doesn't have to do anything anymore. Like, he's got so much money, and people will still know.
You don't think he'll come up? Because R. Kelly got in some trouble, got out of it, then he got into it again. Now he's still in jail.
Like, when you deal with these kind of people who have this kind of psyche, who think they get away with anything, they're always gonna find a way to do something dumb that could put them back into that into prison. So
that's a good point.
I can't.
This Cassie girl wrote the judge a letter saying she didn't want to get out on any kind of bond before sentencing because she's afraid he might send somebody after her.
Right.
Pay him whatever.
Right. So with all the stuff that has to do with the parties, all the stuff that has to do with the situation with the women situation, all those things that he did as managing a record label, all those or owning a record label, all those things to do with liquor and fashion, like within all of that stuff, to try to be legit and been able to be a billionaire, you know, and still end up in prison. Fine, do your time, but it's not fair the time he's getting at all. But that's just the way it is.
So you're disappointed that he's getting this light sentence.
Yeah, and I'm disappointed in our judicial system, to be honest.
Okay, gotcha.
Like and then I'm also disappointed in people who support him. In a sense,
there are still people that support him. That's wild, man.
And in a sense where like you have your own opinion, you can do what you want, but a lot of people's lives have either disappeared, have changed for the worse, and their talent has been abused.
Yeah.
And that's set a tone for what we see now and what the industry is for the music, and especially in rap and hip hop. So, like, let's just try to turn the page and just try to do things a positive way. Like, it doesn't, and not everything has to be negative. Even if you have been rapping about coming from a negative place, you hear all these people that have done positive things in the community, and I feel like that should shine a brighter light than the stuff that's going on with P.Diddy and the stuff that he's done. So
I know, but it's been in the news all week.
And then you got people done, shaking and putting themselves in baby oil and recording.
As Johnson and Johnson, as the stock went up.
Oh my God!
That's like the jokes you're starting to see on the internet.
No, what's with Robert is that there's guys like our age and older who support him because they're like they grew up with Diddy. You know?
Right.
In a sense of listening.
Would you still listen to the music? Can you separate artists from music?
I mean, we can always do that. I mean, like,
okay.
If you don't, then you don't. Then why are you listening? Music is. I
still listen to R. Kelly music, Michael Jackson music.
I mean, look, Janis Joplin was a drunk. What's his name?
Janis Joplin. Wow, that's an old school. But yeah, she was.
This guy, Jimi Hendrix, was had issues. I mean, all these guys and a lot of these people, Rolling Stones, and all these people in music history have had their own issues and have done things in their lives, and but we don't sometimes worry about that. We just listen to the music because that's what it was, right? So
yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point, and we'll see what happens. Maybe other people will learn from P.Diddy.